Welcome to another Zimcast, and it is that time of year again. It is time for the Stanley Cup playoffs. In my opinion, the best playoffs of all the sports. And so that means it's time for Pucking Around with Chris and crew. Clearly, I'm flying solo today. So many scheduling issues. But listen, we had Chris, Mike, and Shant. And I'm going to give you my picks. But Chris, Mike, and Sean texted me their picks. They wanted to be here. Each one of them had different circumstances. So maybe we get them in for the next round, or at least get some of them in, or get one of them on a call or something. So let us make this video short. Let's just dive right in to the picks. First off, Boston Bruins versus the Florida Panthers. Guys, I mean, I don't even know why we're having these playoffs, right? Should we just give Boston the cup? They had an unbelievable, a record-breaking regular season. Most points by any team in the regular season ever in hockey, okay? But Bergeron could miss the first game of the playoffs here. Could miss game one. I don't think that's going to matter. Ullmark, 1.89 goals against average. I mean, this goalie's insane. So not only is Boston putting up, goals, but their goaltending is unbelievable, and that leads to their amazing record. So Florida, look, I don't like giving out sweeps. I don't like bringing out the brooms, but if there is going to be a sweep, I think Boston could definitely sweep them. But hey, listen, Boston's kind of been on cruise control. Maybe they relax a little bit. I'm gonna say Boston in 5, but I don't think that this is a series. Mike LaConte has picked a sweep, but not the way you would assume. He says the Panthers sweeping Boston. I don't know what he's smoking, but hey, I guess he's going for the upset in really, really high upset fashion. Shant is going Bruins in 5, and other Chris is going Bruins in 5 as well. So we got 3 picking Bruins in 5, and Mike sitting there with Florida sweeping the Bruins. Let's move on to the Leafs and the Lightning. Listen, the Lightning have been in the Stanley Cup Finals for the past 3 years. They won 2 last year. They lost against the Avalanche. I mean, you can't count the Lightning out ever. And they beat the Leafs last year in the playoffs, because the Leafs tend to have this ability to self-destruct in the playoffs. But this is an upgraded Leafs goaltending with Samsonov. The Leafs offense is stacked. Austin Matthews. I just think that this will be the year that they get over this first round hump, and I'm going the Leafs in 7. It's going to be hard, okay? It's going to be hard. The Lightning are going to come to play. It's going to be the Leafs in 7. The other Chris says Leafs in 6. Shant says Leafs in 7. And long and behold, Mike, not agreeing with the group, going with the Lightning in 5. All right. There seems like a pattern is evolving here. Let's move on to the next series. The Carolina Hurricanes. You know I love me some Hurricanes, right? Versus the New York Islanders. Islanders literally backed themselves into the playoffs. They gave away pretty much a shot for the Penguins to make the playoffs, and then the Penguins had to gift them it back so that the Isles made the playoffs. So I'm not buying this Isles team. Yes, they're in the playoffs, but look, I think the Canes, even without Svechnikov, I mean, the ACL injury, he's out for the rest of the season. I just think that you can't trust Sorokin, all right? And Sorokin and Varlamov, I just don't think you could trust them for the Islanders. Even though Barzal is set to return for Game 1, so that is huge for the Isles, I still like the Canes. Look, I don't think it's going to be a pushover series here. I'm going Canes in 7. I think they get it done. Other Chris says Canes in 5. Shant, all the way out in the West Coast, says Canes in 5. And yeah, you guessed it. Mike says the Islanders in 6. All right, so the last matchup for the East. The New Jersey Devils, welcome back Nope, that is not important hockey news, so we won't get to that. The New Jersey Devils are back into the playoffs. It's been a long time. The Devils versus the Rangers. I mean, talk about a matchup that I'm going to be enjoying watching. I remember watching these two teams. These are classic playoff like matchups. The rivalry is just crazy here, and this is going to reignite it. The question is, can Igor Shesterkin get back that playoff form that he had last year? He has not had a good season from what we saw last year, specifically in the playoffs. This season, his numbers have come down. He's still a great goaltender, don't get me wrong. But the Devils, they are fast, they are young. You know how the Rangers have the kid line? The Devils are just the kids, okay? So I think the kids are going to outplay the Rangers here. And look, the Rangers made huge splashes at the trade deadline, picking up Tarasenko and Kane. So look, yes, the Rangers are a strong team. And I think that Shesterkin is the one that's got to pull them over the Devils. And I don't think he's going to do that. I'm going with the Devils in 6. Okay, the Devils in 6. Jack Hughes leads this team, and I think they're going to do really well this year. And other Chris goes with the Devils in 7. Shant in the West Coast goes with the Devils in 6. And Mike, I swear we did not share picks. Okay, Mike picks the Rangers in 5. He has no idea who I picked, but he seems to pick completely opposite from everyone else. All right, so one other thing I want to touch up on the East is no Penguins and no Capitals. It's been a long time. Okay, Penguins have been in the playoffs for 16 consecutive seasons. That's a record in all sports, but obviously they miss out, and they cleaned house. But that's for another video. They fired a bunch of people there. All right, let us move on to the West Coast. Like I said, we're going to keep this quick. Normally these videos go for an hour, but when you're just sitting around talking to yourself, it goes a lot quicker. All right. Avs versus the Kraken. Welcome to the playoffs, the Seattle Kraken. You guys have an awesome logo. I just will say that. But that is not going to get you by the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Avs. Listen, they don't have the goaltender they had last year, but they picked up Georgiev, and he is playing really well. I actually really liked him. You know, the Rangers had Igor Shesterkin and Georgiev, and I mean, Shesterkin is a better goalie, but they pretty much had 2 number 1 goalies there. So the Avs get him in a trade, and I'm going with Avs in 5, maybe a sweep. McKinnon and crew, I think they just get it done. And can they repeat? Well, I think they have a good shot. We will see. Other Chris says Avs in 5. Shant in the West Coast says Avs in 5. I'm laughing because I'm looking at my sheet here, and Mike picks the Kraken in 5. So there you go. All right. The Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. Look, Dallas is a strong team, but their goaltending, Ottinger, I think is the X factor there. He wins them some games. He's the one that carries the team, I feel like. Look, they have an amazing first line, okay? Pavelski and crew, they're really good, but Ottinger, I think, is where this series goes. So I'm going to go with the Wild in 7, okay? I think a little bit of Fleury magic, maybe. By the way, speaking of Fleury, he's made the playoffs 17 years in a row, okay? He's been on a playoff team, so that is actually interesting. So I'm going Wild in 7. I think it's going to be, it could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if the Stars win, but I'm going Wild in 7. Other Chris picks the Stars in 6. Shant from the West Coast goes Wild in 6. And Mike agreeing with me, Wild in 6. I feel like I should change my pick if Mike picked the Wild. Probably going to be the Stars at that point. All right, let's head on to the Golden Knights versus the Winnipeg Jets. Look, The Golden Knights have had 5 goaltenders that they've started this year. Okay, it's goalie by committee over there, but all they do is win games. I like the way they play, but Helbecky can steal games for Winnipeg. I'm gonna go with the Knights in 6. Other Chris going Knights in 5. Shant going Knights with the sweep, break out those brooms in 4. And believe it or not, Mike agrees with us. He's going Vegas Golden Knights in 5. And the last matchup we have to talk about are the Oilers versus the LA Kings, Shant's very own LA Kings, and Edmonton. Listen, this is another team, kind of like the Leafs, that they have guys, McDavid, Draisaitl, right? They have an amazing team. But can they get over the hump? Okay, can they get over that hump? Can they break their playoff curse? And I think they definitely do against the Kings. I don't think the Kings have a shot here. I'm going Edmonton Oilers in 5. McDavid is a beast. Okay, 153 points this year. I mean, that's in 82 games. I think that's practically 2 points a game. It's amazing. It's amazing. Other Chris agrees with me with the Oilers, and Mike is going, no surprise, with the Kings in 6. By the way, other Chris says Oilers in 6. I'm saying Oilers in 5. And for some reason, I don't have Shant's pick here. Let me just double check. And okay, there's a little bit of fandom going through. He says Kings in 6. I had to go back to my text there to see what he said. He is going Kings in 6. So we got Mike and Shant with Kings in 6, and Chris and Chris in Oilers in 6. I said 5. All right, so that is it. Those are our picks. Listen, hockey playoffs start tonight. It's going to be fun. I'm really liking a ton of these matchups. Again, I think if you want some like must-watch hockey, it's going to be Devils versus Rangers, Leafs versus Lightning, Oilers versus Kings, just because watching McDavid is always a treat. I mean, they're all great series. I think Boston versus Florida is just going to be one-sided, but hey, you never know. Maybe that curse, right? Maybe that curse of the number 1 seed comes through, and Mike somehow pulls out the victory there with that pick. Anyway, listen, I think we made this video short, and I really appreciate everyone watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment below. Give me your picks below. Go ahead and do that NHL bracket challenge. I'll put a link down below as well where you could find a bracket challenge. It's always fun to do and to compete with your friends. And like I said, hopefully for the second round of the playoffs, we get some crew, right? Chris and crew instead of Chris solo over here, all right? And oh, one other thing. I bet you all thought that I wouldn't do a video because the Penguins aren't in the playoffs. All right? I bet some of you were thinking that. But here's the thing. Yeah, I love the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they are my hockey team. But I love the NHL playoffs and hockey even more than that. And that's why I'm excited for these playoffs, even though I don't have a team in there. And, I've been getting texts from Ranger fans letting me know how the Penguins are not in the playoffs. And I was really kind of like, hey, who am I going to root for? But because of all those texts from you Ranger fans, let's go Devils. Have a good one, everyone.